What's the proudest you've been of your kid? It has always been me and my son since his mother left. We didn't have much, but we had each other, and that was enough for us. I worked a warehouse job during the day and delivered pizzas at night. My boy Tyler, he never complained. He just rolled with life. He was quiet, thoughtful, always watching. Never the loudest in the room, but sharp. You'd never know how much he picked up until he hit you with something wise out of nowhere. One Saturday, we were heading home after picking up groceries. It wasn't even cold out, but this old man was sitting on the curb by the gas station, shivering like it was January. His coat was thin and torn. Everyone just walked past like he was invisible. Tyler saw him, and before I could say a word, he was out of the car with the bag of oranges we'd just bought. I watched him crouch down, offer the guy a bottle of water and some fruit, and start talking to him like he was an old friend. No fear, no hesitation. The man's eyes lit up. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see the tension leave his shoulders. Tyler just sat there with him, listening. After a few minutes, he came back and asked if we could buy the man a sandwich or something warm. I was low on cash, but I nodded. We went back inside and got a couple hot dogs and a coffee. Tyler walked back over and gave them to him, and this time I followed. The man introduced himself as Dennis, said he'd been sleeping behind the old hardware store for a few weeks, lost his job months ago, and it just spiraled from there. You could tell he wasn't used to begging. He kept apologizing for taking help. Tyler didn't let him. He just smiled and asked if he'd like to come eat with us at the park. I was a little unsure, but I couldn't say no. So we all sat at this faded picnic table by the water and talked. Well, mostly Tyler and Dennis talked. Dennis told him stories about working at a radio station in the 80s and how he once met Prince. Tyler was fascinated. He asked real questions, not the kind kids usually ask. He was locked in, and for that hour, Dennis didn't look homeless. He looked like someone's uncle sharing war stories. Then this woman in a big SUV pulled up. She got out in a rush, heels clicking, and shouted at Dennis like she'd just spotted a rat. "You again?" she barked. "I told you to stay off this property. Get lost or I'm calling the cops." I stood up, but Tyler beat me to it. He calmly turned to her and said, "This isn't your property. It's public. We're just eating lunch." She sneered at him, then looked me up and down. "Is this some kind of charity gig?" She scoffed. Dennis stayed quiet, eyes down, clearly embarrassed. I felt the anger in my chest, but Tyler didn't flinch. He asked her if she always talked to people like they were trash. She laughed and said, "People like him deserve to be treated like that. You'll understand when you grow up." That was it. Tyler pulled out his phone and called someone. I thought he was bluffing until a white van pulled up 15 minutes later. Out came this younger woman with a clipboard and a badge. Social services. Turns out, Tyler had been emailing her for weeks about starting a volunteer drive through his school. He had already set up a plan to help a few homeless folks get connected with shelters. Dennis was one of them. The woman greeted Dennis by name and gave him a packet. She said someone from the shelter would meet him there and help with housing paperwork. Dennis was stunned. So was the lady in heels. She tried to backpedal but looked ridiculous standing there with her nose in the air while Tyler helped this man to the van. After they left, I asked Tyler how long he'd been working on all this. He shrugged and said, "A while. I just wanted to do something real." I didn't say anything then, but my chest felt full. Not because he did something good, but because he did it without ever needing to be told. He saw someone hurting and just stepped in. That day, I realized he was becoming the kind of man I'd always hoped to be.